Respect everyone. One day, Chinese philosopher Confucius took his carriage and went out on a journey to give publicity to his theories. He saw a child in the middle of the road and asked the driver to immediately stop. Confucius said to the child, "Would you please give way to my carriage?" The child pointed to the road and said, "Can't you see a castle there?" Confucius looked in the direction and saw a small mud castle. The child further said, "Carriages move around castles. Castle never give way to the traffic." Confucius admired the child and said, "You are so young, and even then you know so much." The child raised his head and said, "I heard fish can swim as soon as they are born. Age doesn't make a difference." Hearing this, Confucius said, "Oh, youngsters today are really remarkable." Confucius asked the carriage driver to bypass the child's castle. It means that even a child should be regarded with respect. Obsession with dragons. Once upon a time, a man was obsessed with dragons. He admired their shapes and way they looked. When he looked at the pictures of dragons breathing fire through their mouths and killing all their enemies, he would get excited. His obsession with dragons reached such a limit that he remembered every story that mentioned dragons. Even at his home, he had gigantic dragons painted all over the walls and ceiling. His house looked like a temple dedicated to dragons, with 2 green dragons breathing fire. One night, something strange happened. A dragon burst through one of the windows of his house and started breathing fire all over the place. Scared, the man started screaming and ran away. This Chinese fable teaches us to love concrete realities instead of the ones we create in our minds. The 3 monks. On the high mountain in a small temple lived a young monk. Every day he drew 2 buckets of water for drinking with a shoulder pole. Later, a thin monk came. The thin monk thought it unfair to draw water alone, so the 2 fetched water together in 1 bucket. The bucket was placed in the middle of the shoulder pole. They still had enough water for both of them to drink. Then a fat monk came. The 2 monks asked him to fetch water. He carried a bucket of water and drank it up. From then on, nobody was willing to fetch water, so they had no water. They began to suffer from thirst. That night, the temple caught fire. The 3 monks finally forgot their selfishness and together put out the fire. From then onwards, they helped one another and the temple never lacked water. Grow seedling by pulling. In ancient China, there lived a farmer who grew a stretch of crops. Every day he went to the field to look at his seedlings grow. One day he finally saw the young shoots in the field. He was impatient and wanted them to grow faster so that he might harvest the next day. One morning he came up with a smart idea to help the young plants grow faster. He began working. He started pulling up the young plants one by half an inch. When he finished pulling, he was very happy. He said to himself, Look, how much taller the shoots have grown." He went home and proudly said to his son what he had done. His son was shocked. He went to the field and was heartbroken to see all the plants dying. The story demonstrates ruining something by disregarding its natural course. Thus, this Chinese idiom tells us not to spoil things by being over-enthusiastic.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.